What's going on, everyone? So, Cam Johnson. If the Lakers, by any chance, can acquire Cam Johnson, definitely think it's a move that the Lakers definitely need to do. Myself, many of you, would love to see Cam Johnson in the purple and gold. Get comments regularly about, gotta get Cam Johnson. How realistic is Cam Johnson? Do we think we can do Cam Johnson? Haven't really talked heavily about Cam Johnson. Even when I did, it was usually in videos, kind of breaking down the full Nets package and stuff. I just don't think Cam Johnson is very realistic, if I'm being honest. One, as soon as the Thunder got involved, that was it. The only reason that the Thunder probably haven't traded for him yet is because they're waiting for Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, guys like that to become available for trade, so that way they can keep kind of their core pieces, trade their picks, right? And that will become available on January 15th. So don't be shocked if the 15th or around the 15th, you end up seeing Cam Johnson go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Might even be what the Nets are waiting on, right? They might even have already a spit in a handshake type deal. Who knows, right? There's several teams that are linked, even the Warriors and stuff. There's just so many teams that have better packages than we have to go and devil out to go and get, a Cam Johnson. I just don't think that that's a super realistic scenario. However, I will say that if you're Rob, you have to at least do your due diligence, right? You have to at least be in these conversations. You have to at least be talking. You just pulled off a trade for Dorian Finney Smith. You never know. One of these teams might go, hey, we don't want to give up what we have to give up. Problem is, what kind of package can you put together that makes sense for Cam Johnson? You can do the salary filler, of course, but one, we've seen the Nets want expiring contracts or as many expiring contracts as possible. Not a lot of teams have expiring contracts. One of the reasons why the Lakers were able to get Dorian Finney Smith in a trade rather than, because you had a team like Memphis who was willing to offer a first, but they didn't want the one, it was protected, top 15, but two, they also didn't want to take on all that long-term salary. Where you look at a team like the Thunder, yes, Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe and guys like that, they have multiple years on their deal left, but there's a couple things. One, they're young, and you can bring them in and kind of have them be pieces for you. It's not like you're taking on some 30-year-old that you don't care about. And two, their contracts also decline each season, right? So each year it gets less and less and less and less. So you're Brooklyn, kind of makes sense to maybe take a type of deal like that. Also get the assets. They could give 5 firsts if they want to go get Cam Johnson. I think if the Oklahoma City Thunder really want Cam Johnson, he's going to the Thunder, right? If they kind of are we'll be patient and wait, then I think ultimately one of these other teams, even the Warriors, can just offer more, right? Kuminga, things like that. So I have my concerns in that regard about the Lakers actually acquiring him. But obviously the Lakers aren't going to trade Austin Reeves. If you're the Lakers, do you look to maybe add in a Dalton Connect, right? And maybe take your 2 firsts along with Dalton Connect and look to maybe kind of package that together to now go make a play for Cam Johnson, right? Do Rui, you'd have to do Gabe Vincent, which both guys, yes, don't really make sense for Brooklyn. However, they both are expiring contracts next season, so you could look to move them in the offseason or look to, it would be a kind of another step for the Nets, so I don't know how much they'd be willing to do that, but get a young guy in Dalton Connect, right? And on top of getting a young guy in Dalton Connect, you also would get the picks and stuff, and maybe you could work it out to where you get a Cam Johnson and a Day'Ron Sharpe, right? So you get another 3-and-D Wayne and a guy who's having an incredible season, and then on top of that, also get your backup center, so you kind of get everything you need in one swoop. Again, I don't really like the idea of Austin Reeves playing the point guard role. We've even seen it recently, right? He struggles with ball pressure, right? Him as the secondary playmaker is fine. him it slotted into that role as like the 2 guard to where he can be aggressive, he can look for his shot, he can get into the teeth of the defense and do those things and then still make the plays. You need that guy that can at least comfortably initiate the offense, bring the ball up the court. Right? I just worry about playing a team like OKC in the playoffs. Not really worried about it so much in the regular season. You can kind of get by and survive in the regular season. But once you get to the playoffs, imagine playing a team like the Thunder. And they're just going to have Lou Dort and Alex Caruso and all these guys just like hound Austin Reeves the entire game. 94 feet. As soon as he touches the ball, boom, you're going to have somebody in your jersey. Right? Like, I just have my concerns in that regard. Cam Johnson, the way he's playing this season, would make the Lakers a contender. He slots in seamlessly. He'd be immediately your third best player. Gives you true size out on the perimeter. Right? Again, I do like the idea of a point of attack, a Bruce Brown, Lonzo Ball, Malcolm Brogdon, like somebody like that. But Cam Johnson is too good to pass up, right? He's one of those guys that like he would make a huge difference. I always talk about like the strides that you would take if you were to pull something like that off. You almost have like if you're the Lakers, you have to make a decision. Do you want to try to win a championship right now, or do you really want to set up for the future? Because another thing too, you got to keep in mind, Dalton Connect's going to be 24 in March, I believe. So. Yes, Cameron Johnson, he's going to be 29 in March too. So I understand the thought process. Like, but you're trading a guy that's 4 years. But the Lakers are right now. Lakers are trying to win a championship right now. And he's a guy that you'd have for the next 3, 4, 5 years, right? So like it fits that window where the Lakers are like, we're willing to trade our picks, but it has to be for a guy that we can have beyond, this season and next. And then even in the post-LeBron era, you still have, Max Christie and Austin Reeves and Dorian Finney Smith and Cam Johnson. And can you maybe go get that center that can slot in, right? Or go get that other star, right? Get the next star that's going to take, LeBron's place. I mean, you could be right back into contention because, Dorian Finney Smith, he'd be older, but his skill set, I think, should age well. Because he's not like super like reliant on his athleticism for scoring. Defensively, obviously, but like his scoring abilities, he's just spot up three-point shooter. Cam Johnson, though, is the piece that I think would like really kind of take the Lakers to the next level. At that point, it's just obviously health, knock on wood. But you look at kind of Cam Johnson and what he's doing this season, right? Because it's like that's the question. Like, is it worth it? One, if you're watching him play this season, it's clear that he's worth it. He had like a 45-point game the other day. But nonetheless, you kind of go into the thick of it, right? 32 games. He's averaging about 33 minutes, 32.6 minutes per game. He is taking 12.8 attempts per game. He's shooting 49.6%, so essentially 50% from the floor total. He's shooting just under 44% from three on 7.5 attempts, which is the most attempts of his career. He, for his career, is around 6 attempts per game. He's taking 7.5, almost 8 attempts per game, right? And he's shooting 44% from three-point range. Top of that, two-point range, he's averaging 5.3 attempts per game. He's shooting 58.2% from two-point range. He has an EFG of 62.4%, which is fantastic. He's shooting 90% from the foul line on 3.9 attempts. He is averaging 4.3 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, half a block, and 19.5 points per game. That would be fantastic, right? Like, you're essentially getting another 24-4 guy, but the floor spacing. But this is why teams want Cam Johnson so bad. And this is why I think it's unrealistic for the Lakers, because they just don't have the assets. Right? Like, teams want Cam Johnson because you can plug him anywhere. He's one of the better plug-and-play guys there are in the league. Right? Where you wouldn't have to worry about the learning curve or figuring this out or figuring that. Like, no, you just, bring him in, do what you've been doing. Right? Like, we don't want to change anything. We want you to, everything that you've been doing, do the exact same thing. Stay the course, right? Like, and it's everything the Lakers need. The defense, the switchability, the versatility, right? Like, I have like Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney Smith, Cam Johnson, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis is an excellent starting five, I mean, that is like a legit starting five that can compete with the best of them, in my opinion. You have multiple shooters, multiple guys that can defend multiple positions, right? Like, make teams have to beat you. I personally am all for whatever you have to do to go get Cam Johnson. Do what you have to do to get Cam Johnson. I just don't know if the Lakers would do it. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if it's worth the Lakers to do it, right? Like, not in the sense, like, obviously if you can get it done, again, I want them to get it done, but do you kind of like, again, like I said, Rob needs to at least pick up the phone, do his due diligence, but do you kind of just like let everyone fall over each other trying to get Cam Johnson, and you kind of sneak in and get this other guy, right? Like I talked about, like with Dorian Finney Smith, and I've said it several times, right? Like, use it as like, imagine a store, and they put all the shiny stuff, all the what looks to be the new good stuff, right? What's hot right now is all in the front of the store, but like, hey, now the real good stuff is in the back, or at least the stuff that does just as good and works the same is in the back. It is cheaper and no one's even thinking about it, right? Like, it's kind of my thoughts, but anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think like, yes, do whatever you have to do, go get Cam Johnson? Disagree? Do you think like, nah, like just stay the course, find that guard, find that center, and we're good? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.